doing today? Just getting ready here. We'll go live shortly. Little audio check. Make sure you smash that like button, folks.
Oh,
Audio check there.
you're chewing stuff. What are you chewing now? Oh, dude, anything foam. I've got a massive thing of foam balls for him. Oh. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like,
Oh, brother.
oh, we got some bouncing balls in here too.
All right. I think we're good. If you're not watching this live, speed up the playback. 1.25x, 1.5x. Save yourself some time. Life's too short. And if you're watching it live, well, then let's get right into it here. Run that intro. Woo-wee. Hey, folks, and welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name is Martin. You can call me Marty. This is my show. So let's go. I wish you well. I wish you wealth. Let's get into it and see what we can accomplish together. I got AK here today. What's happening, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, you know? Really taking to this new day trading lifestyle pretty well, so.
Here we are on a Monday.
That's
Looking
right.
at the charts.
On a Monday.
Looking at the charts, and it's beautiful outside. Finally, got some summer weather here. I was away for the weekend. That's why we're doing a stream on Monday today. Usually we're Sundays at 11, but today we're doing Monday at 11:30. Was camping out in the trees. Holy moly, man! I went to this place where it was a insane spiritual energy location. We're talking trees that are hundreds of years old, all in like a perfect, like there was a bunch of them around, but there was these three in particular that were in a perfect triangle in this little grove area. And you know, these things are hundreds of feet tall, probably like 8 to 10 feet in diameter. And you just stand in the middle and you like put,
area?
dude, in the Goldstream Park. It was
you were just there. Oh wow.
yeah, it was crazy. I just went down there, and the first time I saw it, because we were there for a few days, the first time I saw it, I was just like, wow, just kind of hung out and had a little puff and, you know, meditated for a bit. And then every day after that, I went down there, and everybody that was with us and we were running into, bringing them down there, and just be like, man, just take a couple deep breaths and just look around, just feel the energy. I could personally, as soon as I walked into it, I could feel a difference. It's
when you get to be surrounded by nature again rather than industrial. And
absolutely healing your body. Like it's crazy. But anyways, here we are back at the charts. So it's nice that we're able to do that type of stuff, you know, those type of things, instead of having to slave your whole life away because of the Industrial Revolution and the things
inflation
those generations created. Unfortunately, but you know, we already know that beating them isn't necessarily on the table. In fact, it's not even worth trying to do, because you'll just end up wasting your life away and wasting more time trying to do so. And so playing the game, whether you like it or not, is kind of really the only choice at this point. Like we've talked about, like I've said many times, my opinion does not matter. The outcome of what I would like to achieve is the only thing that matters. How I get there is, well, I have to play the game. I did not invent the game. I do not support the game. I do not like the game. But unfortunately, to get to my desired outcome and living standard, I have to play the game. Now, at the same time,
make sure you're playing the right game.
Well,
right?
exactly.
You got to be playing chess, not checkers. Everybody else is playing checkers.
Yeah, and at the same time, we can advocate for a Bitcoin standard and sort of educate people that, it is possible to change via revolution without being violent. You just support and use and adopt the technology that solves all the problems that they created. And, in doing so, you will educate yourself on the problems in general. Most people don't even understand the problems to begin with. They just think life's getting more expensive.
Yeah, no, life's not getting more expensive. That the years between 2020 and 2023, when inflation, the actual price they told you went up 20%, inflation was more or less well over 100%. They just told you the 20%.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the last, couple of years, it's only gone up 2.5. But that's not the problem. The problem is the 20, it went up.
Yeah. The massive amount of money printing.
Now we're just maintaining it. We're screwed. And nobody's getting a 20% wage increase, right?
No.
To maintain that little lifestyle they had.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at the rate of inflation, I think I read something that was, of course, do your own research, but minimum wage was, in the cents in the late 60s. We're talking not even $1 here, in the cents. And minimum wage now, depending on where you live, of course, is somewhere in between, $7 to $15, maybe. Some places maybe a little higher. But the equivalent of those cents back in the day to inflation now, we're talking like $65, $70 an hour. Is where minimum wage should be if it was equivalent to where it used to be. And it's simply,
you got to look at it as like what a house cost, right? If the average person was making 20 to 30,000 back in the 90s and a house only cost you 130 grand.
Yeah. Supposed to be
nothing. That's a few years of your wage.
That's all it was ever supposed to be, like a 3 to 5 years, and you should be able to buy a house. Right.
Now you have to work for 20, 30 years just to get a down payment to get a 30-year mortgage.
Exactly.
So
and you won't
60 years of your life when you start in work.
And you will never pay that off.
No.
Right. And of course, that's not bad because you use your assets as leverage. Not paying off your mortgage is not something somebody should be afraid of, but it is also just something to take into perspective when looking at the economic system and the monetary policy as a whole. You have to realize these are just outliers that confirm the things that we are talking about, right? And that also confirm the numbers that you're seeing in the reported news are artificial or influenced in certain direction to try and make you think one way or another, when if you do your own research and do the numbers for yourself, because of course everyone's got a supercomputer in their pocket that can find any answer to anything at any moment with just a couple clicks of a few keys, a few taps of a screen. You should be able to figure this out. There's really no excuse now. It's not that hard.
No, I mean,
the kids are being forced to do it. Yeah, the kids are being forced to do it.
Here's a good one for you, because I heard this recently. SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, is now worth more than Canada.
Oh yeah.
As our country is used, I don't think people understand that they're creating the recession to sell the country.
Yeah.
It's not going to be its own little thing anymore. They're burying the country so far in debt. There is no solution other than to be bought out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking to an older gentleman about this the other day, and I told him, there's a reason why all of these people are being brought here, because that's the only way to maintain the Ponzi until they're ready to pull chute and jump out. It's clearly economically unstable and has been for, I don't know, you could say 6 or 7 years if you really want to be deliberate about it, but honestly, it's been a long time coming. It has very little to do, I think, maybe with the whole red and blue thing. It doesn't really matter because it comes down to the monetary policy, which is above the government. People just believe that if they change the government, they'll change the problems or whatever, or fix the problems.
Politics is the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because it's distracting people. Yeah, right? Because it's distracting people from actually fixing the problem. It's just giving them false hope and an illusion of choice
I know. Like if you vote, like I'm sorry, but if you vote conservative, do you all of a sudden think life is going to get 100% cheaper? That $2 a liter gas is now going to go back down to $1 because you changed your vote? It's not.
Yeah.
They've created the inflation. Now it costs that much to produce it.
Yeah.
It always will. You can't cut costs now.
No, especially with compound interest.
Not in the fiat market. You can cut costs on a Bitcoin standard.
Exactly. You don't even
everything gets cheaper.
Yeah, and it's ultimately it just fixes the main problem that the generations of the early to mid 1900s have created for us, because their whole policy was to, as long as we have more people coming in, like that the whole fiat idea is it works as long as everything grows, GDP, right? But at some point, obviously, we knew that, you should know, you'd think you should know that at some point, whether it's you actually run out of space or whatever, like, everything's happening right now because the population is not growing anymore. So they're immigrating people over and paying for it, printing money to do it, and all this stuff. It's like they're not, it's like you have water shooting up into your boat and there's 10 holes in your boat and you're just trying to put your finger in one hole and then this just comes up the other hole. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. All these things that they're doing is not fixing the boat. It's not stopping you from sinking. It's just making people look like, oh, that was a problem. Okay, finger in that hole. Okay, see, I fixed that hole now. But it's like, it just keeps popping up somewhere else. You can't fix anything with politics. It's never going to work. It never has worked. So, just take the track record,
Here's another thing. If you're just going to constantly fight, what the hell is that going to solve?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but that's all they do. Have you ever watched these people? They don't know how to talk to each other.
Debate.
They don't speak like adults.
No.
These are people representing you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'd much rather have a group of kindergartners who can work together.
Probably.
Come up with solutions for me than these adults.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, the situation is they're doing that on purpose, because the people who actually make the decisions don't want you to know who they are, even though it's pretty obvious now when you watch the money. Focus on the money.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to see, but still, of course, with the invention of television, they put whatever they want in front of you via putting it on a screen and making you think that you should watch this screen and you're going to get smarter from watching the screen or whatever.
Well, and then on top of it, you pay for that too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's all coming.
You pay for that television bill.
It's all coming. Yeah. You pay to be misinformed.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. And then they're selling your country out from beneath your feet and supporting everybody but you and themselves. It's brutal, man. It's the K-shaped economy, and it's hard to really do much about it, because I've now been, because I've been investing, because I've understood how things work, because I've played the game, whether I like it or not, I'm starting to be on the up slope of the K-shaped economy, and things are getting better for me and for my investments and my portfolios and all this type.
Isn't that crazy? We're in a recession and our lives are actually getting better.
Well, yeah, it's brutal, man. War and recession makes rich people richer. It makes poor people poorer.
And we're not even rich. We're just two guys who are, we got Monday off and we're talking about the charts.
Well, we're not rich on a ridiculous scale
here or anything. We're just everyday people.
Yeah,
making a life off a different standard that our parents, basically had growing up.
Yeah,
they're all their stuff gained in value, right? All the properties. You look at that, right? Bitcoin's our property.
Yeah, exactly. Bitcoin is the chance for the newer generation, and I get it, people are worried about the volatility and stuff like that, but it's any new technology that's ever hit the market has always started out volatile. Bitcoin's only 15 years in. It's set to be around for another 1,000 years. So,
call it volatile all you want. I'm sorry, but if we're at a 50% down from all-time highs and we're still sitting at 70, almost 70K. Dude, 3 years ago we were talking about 30 and 40, right?
Yeah.
So volatility.
It's just
spend 2-3 years in the market and it won't be volatile.
Well, that's just it, right? If it's all about your time horizon, your window, your aspect ratio, however you're being able to look at time. If you're looking at time and only thinking day to day, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, you're not planning for the future. You
No.
know, if you don't have any plan of where you want to be in 5 years, well, then you need to try and figure that out first, because long-term planning is what changes, what puts you in that position in 5 years from now. You can't just put yourself in that position tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. You need to plan for that position, understand how you're going to get there, and do all the steps necessary to get there along the way, and continue to refine and improve your plan the more you learn. And a 5-year plan, you can actually put you where you want to be in 2.5, 3 years if you're paying attention to the right things and learning every single day and not getting distracted by the BS. And which is, just talking about distractions here, let's pivot for a sec. The FIFA World Cup is coming to the West. How much of a red flag do you need? Think about all the other countries that FIFA World Cup has always been in, right? Brazil, all these countries that have been around a lot longer, inflated their currency to infinity, and are you know, economically starving countries. But it's okay. Football and beer, football and beer, football and beer, football and beer. But now we have the FIFA World Cup coming to the West. That's a red flag if I've ever seen one. And what are we doing over here? Well, everything's football and beer, or soccer and beer, whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's like, you guys, it's the same thing for hundreds, if not thousands of years, over and over and over again. Colosseum, Rome, blah, 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 right? Like, they even will tell you about some of the stuff in public school. It's like a lot of the stuff I do,
dude,
a lot of the things I know.
On it. You know, get an audiobook. All you have to do is listen to these things now, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
Actually, you don't even need an audiobook. Go get AI, tell it to break the book down for you in a few sentences so it's easy for you to read and then you'll understand.
Yeah, you know? And you can even get it to read to you now too, right? So
educate yourself. Yeah.
And you got to be into it too. You got to be, and it's, I guess it kind of like a lot of things, it could be hard to get started, but once you get into it, then you become addicted. At least I did. I was like, you know, I was into being drink a lot, play music, you know, live the rock star life and not care about tomorrow for a long time. But then when I had kids and when I started, you know, actually learning about how the world works, what monetary policy is, you know, and just realizing, damn, like, I can't stop. I can't stop reading about all this stuff. I can't stop looking into this stuff. I can't stop paying attention to economic data on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. Everything that I pay attention to now is charts, graphs, statistics. Like, that's all I care about. Everything else just seems irrelevant at this point.
It's your time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's everything you're searching is your value, right? It makes what you've stored your value in more valuable, or you know where to put it, where I'm moving it, what I'm doing with it, what's going on. You know, you want to make sure that you're okay. And so that's, you know, rather than filling yourself with all the nonsense that you see these days. And that's what makes it very hard to talk to other people too, right? Because they're so misinformed by their 10-second clip. You've spent the hours and days and weeks researching this, and you're just like, oh, all right.
They read a headline and they know more. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, I scrolled up and down on my phone, so I'm educated.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a crazy world we live in, but the same thing is, so this is kind of where before we pivoted there, what I'm trying to get at, like, as I am on the upward slope of this K-shaped economy, all these people that are on the downward slope of this K-shaped economy have the power to get out of that trajectory. They have the power. It's up to them. And I can see why certain people that already know about this are like, you know what, man, screw those people. Because here I am now for 10 plus years in one form or another, trying to educate people on reality, the real world, how it actually works, not what the one they say that it works in the news, but how monetary policy actually drives economics. And there's like 99% of people don't want to hear it. And I'm like, man, well, you can't complain then. Put all your complaints away if you don't want to hear the solution, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. I've got a solution. It's working. I have not only talked about it for years, I'm now proving it. And
well, I'm proof of it. Right?
Yeah, like, you listened.
My life has increased just simply by paying attention, listening to the Bitcoin, listening to you. I mean,
And it's
and then educating myself. Yeah.
anybody can do
You
it.
end up diving into it yourself. You don't want somebody else to tell you.
That's true too. Is being able to be slightly skeptical regardless of whatever you're listening to, but then also maintaining interest to go do that research for yourself, right? So now the saying is, don't trust, verify, right? You're gonna hear shit no matter where you're looking, where you're going. You're gonna hear stuff, but you know, are you able to verify it? Are you willing to put the time in to verify? Because yes, the answer is you are able to verify with technology, with your smartphone. You are able to verify any bit of information, AI, whatever. But will you actually take the extra minute and a half that it takes to do it? That's the difference between the K-shaped economy. Because, like we've said before, if everybody paid attention and everybody knew that you don't save cash, you don't save fiat, you don't live in a fiat standard, then there would be no problem with inflation. Everybody would love inflation. High inflation numbers, sweet. That means I'm getting richer. That means my assets are worth more, right?
Well, this is the one thing where I wish we could really just get the whole message across to the country is, guys, we're not that big. We're not even the size of California. If every single one of you just goes out and puts $100 or $500 like today in Bitcoin and you hold it, well, shit, you're going to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world.
Yeah.
And not only that, that's going to drive the price up, because if you're going to hold it, well, it's not for sale anymore.
And so what I would recommend if we went down that route is to people diversify and leave half of it on an exchange that is Canadian based, so that the records look good, and take the other half and put it in cold storage. Because just like a bank showing you numbers on a screen, if you have any type of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency on an exchange, it's also doing the same thing. It's just showing you numbers on a screen. It's basically an IOU, a record that you are due for this amount of Bitcoin. But if you put it on cold storage, they have to physically send that Bitcoin to you, and you hold it on your flash drive, your cold storage, in which case they cannot create paper Bitcoin. The reason that the fiat system is so falling apart, especially right now, is because in 2020 fractional reserve lending went to zero reserve lending. Back in the day, you used to have, they could only loan out a certain amount of money compared to how much money they had. And during 2020 and 2021, when everyone was paying attention to something else, obviously they changed the rules to say that we don't have to have any reserves anymore. We can just loan out infinite money. And so that's why ever since then, things have been progressively worse, because they just continue to print and invent new money at the click of a button without any physical things being, having to back it up. So that's the problem.
They took 25% of your wealth right off the top, just like that, and they've been draining you ever since. If not, they've definitely taken at least 50% of everybody's value, I would say.
Exactly. And if you're retired and you are, working on your funds or living off of a wage, that they just took 10 years from you. They just took 10 to 15 years from you in a matter of 2. And like, how are people not like losing it, right? Like the people who have retired retirement accounts
funds and everything, man, I'd be losing my mind right now if I was actually relying on a pension fund to retire in the next 10 years.
But they're too old to like do anything about it, right?
Well, they're old. And that's it, right? Here's your $2,000 a month. Have fun living. But what? Like, no. I'm not living off that. I need a hell of a lot more.
Dude, it's so ridiculous. Carney said something about groceries costing an average of $1,700 per month for families. We just did our we redid our budget the other day to just get ready for the new season that starts in September, with all the kids doing the activities and stuff like that. We kind of start to budget for it now, and we took a few grocery receipts, because we always just leave them in the bag. We reuse the same reusable bags. Took a few grocery receipts from the last few months, looked at the average price per month. It was upward of $5,000 per month, our groceries. And he says he's trying to say an average price is $1,700 per month. Bro, I only got 2 kids.
No, and that hell, man, and you grow a lot of your own food too, right? Like,
we do.
People don't understand, like, you do a lot to bring that down as well.
Yeah. And we're
So
not buying specialty items or anything like that too. It's like we're pretty much bare bones, produce.
mhm,
It's like we buy very little junk. Obviously you got to buy, there's a little bit of junk here and here. I have a bag of chips and
yeah,
stuff like that, but it's like very little junk. It's all good food. And I guess that's maybe what it is like the junk food is cheap. So if you're buying all shit food that's going to kill you in 15 years, well then sure, maybe you can get by with $1,700 if you're getting it all at
well,
Walmart. But I mean, we go to
that's
like,
why they have the obesity problem,
yeah,
right? And the health problems is because all the cheap food is what everyone buys because that's all they can afford.
yeah,
You got to eat, right?
yeah,
And unfortunately,
yeah.
people, some of them, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone down to 2 meals a day. I intermittent fast almost every day.
Yeah.
I usually don't eat food on any given day till at least 10:30, 11 o'clock. And in which case I'll have a couple snacks and then maybe have like a couple sandwiches at like 1 o'clock, so like an actual lunch. And then I'll have dinner at 6 o'clock and then that's it. And then I don't eat again for another, 14, 15, 16 hours. And
Well, you feel a hell of a lot better. I've been doing
fantastic.
that for forever as a garbage man, right? You don't have time to eat in the morning. You eat on the way to the dump and on your way back. So.
Yeah, right. And I mean, just drink water, stay hydrated, and I've found myself to absolutely feel so much better. Even just like because I do smoke cannabis here and there, and every once in a while you get like, oh god, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like if you start, but it's like, man, I feel like physically great, and it's I don't know, man, it's pretty.
It's a Bitcoin standard, man. Once you get onto it, everything in your life also gets better too. Right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
plummets. It
and
really is like it spills over into everything because you
absolutely.
end up start being happy and understanding that you're kind of okay,
Yeah,
right? And like you said, yeah, your grocery bills are a hell of a lot of money, but at the same time, you're also starting to see the benefits of the investing and the value and everything to know where it's like, I know this is horrible and everything, but I can play the game to make myself okay.
And I mean,
Right?
you gotta eat. So it's like you're gonna spend whatever you're gonna spend. But the point I was getting at with that is just like, man, it's how obvious it is that all these reported numbers and all these things that these political people are saying, it's so obviously not true. To the point where we're talking about a $3,500 discrepancy on a monthly bill payment here. Like that's huge, man. You can't if you're off by a couple $100 or maybe $1,000 because of your broad approach of looking at who's eating and stuff. Okay, that's fair, but I'm a pretty basic single family, with 4 people in the house, and we're pretty average, I think. There's plenty of people out there with 6 or 7 kids or maybe one kid or whatever. But like, I think 2, 3 kids is pretty average. And we are far, far above the reported average that they are saying. Right. So it's like, it's just clearly not true.
I don't know where they honestly get the data from because it is BS numbers, right? Like
Absolutely.
they have to, I don't know. They must be finding certain communities or areas that,
That's just it, right? Is
screwing around with.
all they need to do is, take a little bit more from one place and take a little bit less from another, and they can make those numbers. Because they never asked me what my grocery bill was. Who are the people that are filling out these surveys? How are you getting these numbers? You're not talking.
The homeless, man. The homeless are spending $1,700 a month digging through the trash and grocery store. Right?
Yeah. They're not talking to everybody, and they'll openly tell you that it's only from a select group. But it's like, okay, well, it was obviously a particularly selected group to get the number that you were looking for. And it's
honest,
just,
I would like to start seeing numbers that from the politicians themselves. Let's take their lives and do an average, and then say everybody else has to be brought up to that standard.
Yeah. Also, look at their wage increase.
We're the ones funding them.
Look at look at the percentage of their wage increase over the last 50 years, and then look at the percentage of an average worker's wage increase. And exactly, they're supposed to be representing you, and you're paying for it. So why are you putting up with that? Right? Oh, soccer and football, or soccer, football, and beer.
See, that's the problem, right? Anytime you talk to somebody, they're like, "Hey, man, you see the game last night?" It's like, did you see the pump in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, sorry, neither did I. I was watching something else.
It's tough, man. And I don't know if you've seen, but all of Station Road right now is completely shut down, and they've got like just full on all day long screens, beer gardens. Like you can go down to Station Road and watch soccer any time of day, the whole time this is going on.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we're not distracting you. I wonder what's going on in Langford that they're doing this to make everybody.
It's
Because I mean,
crazy, man.
we've grown up here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen a lot, and this place sure as hell isn't the place I grew up in.
Oh, not at
So,
all. Not at all. And I
wow.
was really thinking, I was really hoping on staying here and raising my kids here because of the upbringing that we
Yep.
had, but it's just not the same place anymore. So
Oh, dude,
that's,
it's almost hard to figure out where to go because that like that small town rainforest kind of community vibe we had where everything was,
hmm
a lot small. It's not, yeah, it just doesn't really exist anymore. And it's
no.
even if you go up north here a little bit, I just still
Well, and that's
confused on
just
where
it.
I'm trying to go.
And that's what's been happening is people keep moving north and keep moving north. And then you're like, why are people living in Alaska? That's insane. It's like, well, because they're probably still sane and they
Yeah.
don't want to be involved with the insanity that's happening close to the equator. And the same thing with people
Yeah.
moving south too, right? It's like obviously there's ideal places for humans to inhabit, but we're
Yeah.
stretched so
Apparently
far.
Florida's one of them.
We're stretched so far from them, and people are like, "Well, why would you do that?" So because people are the thickness of the amount of people over here that are misled is just insane, and I can't handle it. So I'm getting out of
No,
here.
I know, right? I'd just like to have a community of common sense people
Yeah.
where we have normal people doing normal jobs and
Mm-hmm.
maybe build a community where a community doesn't need you working 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm. Other
Be
well,
nice to
dude.
be able to build and maintain a community where kind of people go to work 3-4 days a week.
Yeah. Well, even the
enjoy,
pilgrims,
enjoy time with your family.
even the pilgrims back in the day only worked 4 days a week tops. Like, and they had a bunch of holidays, and there was like and they didn't even have like bills. They just had to pay. Like usually there was just kind of
Yeah.
like a communal tax. And it
Yeah,
was like,
to help out with the community or whatever, right?
yeah,
It wasn't like we're coming to
they
take
weren't
half your paycheck because we need to pay all our useless politicians
they
to
weren't
do
paying
nothing.
phone bills, they weren't paying electricity bills, they weren't paying heat bills, they weren't paying freaking
No,
cable bills. Like, it's pretty
no.
nuts, man. They took the
Yeah,
water and they put it in a bottle and sold it to you. They took the land and they gave it a number and they sold it to you and made you have to pay for it. It's like, dude, everything that we need is here. It was provided for us.
yeah.
Why?
All they did, 100 years ago, was they showed up here and claimed the land. Well, hell, why can't I just walk down the road and do an
Yeah.
open fucking field and say, all right, this is mine?
Yeah,
Like,
toss a stake in, and then that was the whole deal with the Oregon Trail. That's why people made the journeys, because it was, if you put a stake in the land and claim it, then it's your
yep,
land. But obviously, you can only go so far, and certain people got greedy and staked as much as they possibly could. Obviously, with the education of knowing that something like this is not going to last forever, so I
right.
need to get on it while I can. And meanwhile, most people are just like, okay, I'm just going to take this. I know there's a little stream here. I can work with this. I'm good. But it's like, other people looked at it differently and were like, well, we need to get as much as we possibly can. And obviously we have this massive discrepancy and arguably, the beginning of the K-shaped economy. But still, it's like, it's madness. It's absolute madness. It's about the only word you can think of for it. So speaking of the Bitcoin price, let's get into a little price action here and see what's going on. This is the 15-minute chart.
We've been moving up a little bit here.
We've been moving up a
Getting
little.
back
So let's
up
check
there.
on the daily. Actually, let's go to the weekly first. Let's go to the weekly because ultimately we are at the same price that we were at 2 years ago, in
Yeah,
the summer of 24. Remember the summer of 24? Bah, bah.
I do.
I bought my first
'Cause
real Bitcoin.
we were in a downtrend,
Summer
I
of
believe, actually.
24. It pumped up 100% and then went back down to the floor. Oh, no, it's like, it's funny because, this is
Yeah,
exactly
right
why.
here.
This is exactly why I was telling people to take profits up here, because this is exactly what I anticipated to happen.
Well, I'm going to be honest, man. The next time we go, I probably think our next top next year with all the news. I mean, everybody's really calling for that 180. Man, if we see 180, I'll probably be taking some profits for when the bear market comes back and buy back some more.
So let's see, just doing some quick math here. If we were, we can go to or do we have our bottoms and tops on this ones? No, we don't. Let's go to this one for our bottoms and tops. Ching, that one. No, maybe this one. Yeah.
We got a
So bottoms and
back in
tops.
August 24
Yeah. So
was
November 21.
49.3.
November 21 to November 22. Well, that was
We're
our
going
bottom
way back.
there. And so we came down from top to bottom approximately 75%, over a year, 330 days, 360-ish days from in there. And so far now, if we go to the top, approximately 70% would be all the way down at like 35. I tossed out the number 42 months ago, and I still think that's like reasonable because there's a bunch of lows in here and a bunch of liquidity. This green box has been on here for a long time. It would just make sense for that to happen. We have had diminishing gains as well as diminishing drop downs, so it's stabilizing. We didn't see as much of a pump up, so there's likely to not see as much of a drawdown.
No, and it's tough with the state of the world, right? Because I mean, all those downturns, you have to remember there wasn't this worldwide adoption yet. Like we have seen quite a bit of adoption in Bitcoin over the last couple of years, especially the last year to keep the price a little bit higher, I guess, from
institutions,
right
and that's the thing too, is institutions came in. So publicly, institutions came in, I think here, it was January 24, BlackRock and other places like that announced publicly that they were in. But if you look at the chart,
makes sense why we come back down there. I don't think you're going to let them take a loss, right?
Well, that's just it.
Entered there.
That's just it. Is they have so much money that they're accountable for, it's in their best interest to not let it get lower than that. And if it does, to do something about it really quickly. And so that is right where our 786 is at 38K, 40K. So somewhere around there you'd be looking for bottom watch. But if you look at the chart, they publicly announced it here. I'd say they actually physically started buying
100%
down here.
That was something that they were doing behind the scenes,
of course,
distracting people,
of course. And they weren't
the price, and then
they also weren't 100% transparent, but they also weren't totally misleading either, because they actually said that they typed, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing, is where the rumor is that they're buying Bitcoin because it has them being financial advisors, institutions, and responsible for your money. They need to try it first, make sure it passes all their laws, checks all their boxes, etc., before they're willing to be like, okay, guys, we think that this is a good investment for you. We feel comfortable taking your money and putting it here now after we've already done this for a year, right? Which is exactly a year. And so if we continue to go down, as we continue to go down, like we expect, you were talking about 2028. So this was 2022 to 2025. So you're talking about 3 years. So we're still 26, 7, 8, 9, and the top of the bull market could be 2029 at this point. And so
that 2030 date, kind of when you see that new world currency or whatever is going to be taking over the fiat system, I think
that would line up perfectly, right? Because the top of the market would be 2029, and then we see at some point during 2029 a bear market that lasts a year into 2030, and of course there's some sort of disruption, some sort of catalyst that implements a new technology and a new control. It's like the same thing every time. You can look at the charts. It doesn't matter. Like, there's going to be some sort of news, and the news doesn't really matter because the charts are already telling you that something's going to happen. What that something is, I don't really care. I'm trading the charts. I don't trade the news. But it's just funny how time and time again, we look at the charts and we use a past to predict the future and project forward what looks like is going to happen, and something happens along those lines, and then they come up with a news story or a narrative to fit it afterwards. It's like, man, like I don't need to hear about why that already happened or why that happened. Is because I was already positioned, because I used the charts. I'm not going to use the news or the rumors or whatever else, because that's what they're using to try and
when it's already moved.
Yeah.
Right? Like the charts are already moving before the news gets to you.
Absolutely. So. Right. They just try to use the charts to justify what happened already, or try to use the news to justify what's happened already in the charts.
And then, unfortunately, the people who do watch the news for this information then run to their stocks and go start selling them so they don't lose everything, right? Take them at a loss and they buy back high. And
Yeah.
whereas if you're just watching the charts, you'd be doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, totally. You're the one that's creating the movement because you've educated yourself on what, you know, is likely to happen based on past performance. And so, yeah, I mean, like, we had this scribble on here since the top. It makes a lot of sense for us to come down into this area, into the in between 56 and 40K. You have that green box down here. It's been down here for a while. That's what we'll be looking for. And of course, we've got the other chart where we have the DCA zone, because likely with global adoption, with more people understanding, with the rate of inflation also fighting against this, we know that we're not necessarily just waiting for a bottom to go in all in, right? That doesn't make much sense, because what if that doesn't happen, right? So we have we've come down 40 to 50%. Good time to start DCAing from all the way from the 40 to 60 to 70% drawdown. That's where you want to be buying. You don't just buy once and then hope for the best. You continue to
Yeah. This isn't the casino. You're not just going, I'm throwing 500 on Bitcoin and I'll be back in an hour to see if I'm a millionaire.
Well,
right?
the thing is that it can be, though. And that's what trading basically
trading,
is.
yeah.
Right? It
Yeah,
can
that's
be,
the
but
thing.
it works for everybody. It works for investors. It works for traders. It works for hodlers. So if you want that rush of losing money and you want to put it all in or whatever, like, you can do that. It works for those people. But the markets are the impatient giving money to the patient by that exact strategy right there. The people that are DCAing and not worrying about daily price action and just building a bag, building a portfolio, working to provide value and educating themselves over the long term will just continue to win while all these other guys just keep falling off, put it in, fall it off, go back to work for a couple of years, put it in. It's like the cycle that they play is madness. But, you know, again, they love their football and beer, so that's what they're going to be doing.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is what I was telling you about the crypto crank guy there. I just sent it to you. This
Shout out to Crank at the Coliseum.
if you want to watch it, I mean, this is so here. If 500 can make you a million.
Is it a little short? Let's see.
Yeah. It's a 10-second short.
Yeah, massive shout out to the Cranksters.
All right, we have gone from $10,000 that I showed the cranksters on those streams. We've gone from $10,000 to $43,000 in less than 6 days scalping. 6 days on 10 grand. And again, it's just doing the exact same thing. Look, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, he shreds.
Boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, boom.
So,
All
I
right,
mean,
we have gone from
possibilities are there if you really want to learn, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
He's somebody great to follow and watch with
Yeah.
that too. You got me into him, and I'm talking about throwing some Bitcoin in ZoomX and starting to follow him and do trades with him a little more.
Mhm.
You know, obviously, you know, there are times when you lose. He's mentioned some big losses, you know, but that comes with the game.
You're never going to win 100% unless you're a politician. But you can still make money with even a 50% win rate as long as you keep your wins much larger than your losses.
Man, honestly, if you're keeping your wins above 10%, you're doing better than the damn stock market.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't need to be, I'm increasing my bag 100 all the time. Like, you know, I personally love to increase my bag 100%.
It's
all
nice
the
when it
time.
happens.
I mean, who doesn't? But
It does happen,
you know,
though.
it does.
Right?
Does.
Like it happens when those big moves happen and you're positioned properly, just waiting for the little move, but then all of a sudden you get this, right? Like the short that we gave was only down to the support line, and it ended up paying 200% more than the trade setup initially, you know, was supposed to be. And I took profits. You take profits and you let a little bit go if it's not looking like you're, you know, a bottom or a top is coming in. And you're like, okay, well, and then eventually you're like, okay, wow, it's starting to look real bad. Maybe I'll add back in, because from where we are right now, I can put my stop loss in profit and still add to this trade and, you know, just keep moving things down. And that's
exactly,
it happens, right? But you know, we're set up for the small moves, but then when you're in and the big moves happen, well, it's like, well, dang, there you go. And that's kind of why I took last week off. I think I took one long last week for like a little 13%, and then I took a short at the value area low yesterday because I expected if we were going to go lower, we would hit our head on the value area low and continue down. And I should have moved my stop into profit because I was in profit for a little bit, but then again, I was camping. I'm not really paying attention too much. So, you know, they just lost $50 or whatever. Like, you keep your stops tight. It's not a big deal. But, you know, now that we've broken above that value area low and we are now inside this range and we're tight to the POC here, we're going to see what happens. And basically what we were talking about before we went live is this yellow line is our macro POC from the last 2 years, which means the most amount of money has been traded at this level that we are basically at right now. We came down and held it as support-ish when we came down back in February and March, and we bounced. And so that was a good indicator that we were going to come up to that value area high. And we ended up kind of breaking above it and actually going to test the all-time high VWAP. And that's kind of where we were thinking, hey, like, there's a lot of volume up here, but we are in a clear downtrend. So looking for a lower high up in this range. So that's why we had the DCA out, because it's the middle of the bear market. This wasn't the bottom. We knew this wasn't the bottom way too soon. Not enough people are in realized losses yet. The market has to get a whole lot bloodier before bottoms come in. A lot more things collapse, a lot more doom and gloom stories come out, a lot more the world is going to end cut type stuff comes out. And I mean, of course, a war in Iran, it's pretty typical. It's pretty common bottom signal. They use it a lot. But at this point, the more that they use
the peace treaty now.
Yeah, the more that they use the same story over and over again, it gets less and less significant for markets. So, of course, you know, what was the biggest shock in the markets in the last 7 years? Well, it was obviously 2020. Which is crazy. I don't know. That one blows my mind. It's like, you guys,
what, everyone fell
wait,
for that stuff?
wait, everybody in the world has the flu? That happens every single year. You can literally go look at the numbers. We've known about this for a long time. Okay, it's drink some water, put some lemon in it, and get out and exercise. Anyways, we're not going to get into that. We're not talking about that type of stuff.
We're for a few years.
We're we're investing in trading. We don't care about the manipulative state of
the intelligence of the common.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That stuff blew my mind, but.
You
know, that's what shook up markets, and that was something new. That wasn't a war in Iran, or wasn't a war in the Middle East, which they've used time and time again. And of course, you know, it's terrible to think that people's lives are just used like that, but that's not my opinion. I don't hate the player, hate the game. That's the game. They've been doing it over and over again. I feel terrible about it. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous. That's why I choose to move towards and educate people on a Bitcoin standard so that they don't use fiat money for war anymore, because the only reason they can do that is because they can print an infinite amount of it. You can't just print an infinite amount of Bitcoin and use it. If everybody's using Bitcoin, then they have to actually get our money to fund the war. And if we don't agree with it, they can't use it. There's nothing for them to do. Okay. It puts the power back into the people. And takes it out of the hands of a select group of people that just want to manipulate the markets and take all the poor people's money, or the people that aren't paying attention to how the game is played. And that's just what they continue to do over and over and over again for one reason or another. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Call it greed, call it whatever you want. Call it...
well, go look at certain people's values after the war and see how much it's actually increased, right? And then you'll understand why they do it.
Well, not only
it's,
that,
it's 2026,
dude. Did you hear?
There's no need for war and killing each other at this point. You know, if two countries don't like each other, fuck, you got the UFC. You know, you throw the two leaders in the octagon and you let them go at it
right in front of the White House. Yeah. So
and not only that, you charge pay-per-view so people can watch it and you make money off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you put that money back into the country for the two idiots fighting each other.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, though, like, the thing is, the only thing that war is still good for is destruction, because developing is profitable. You have to, when you want to build a new house, you tear down the old house to build a new house. And so, unfortunately, war destroys things. And then what happens? Well, Caterpillar just signs a massive deal
we get to rebuild now and make more money. Look at that. Wow.
So
we can stimulate the economy and tell everybody it's okay again.
Yeah, if you're into Caterpillar stocks, you're probably going to be doing pretty good over the next couple of years while they just got a massive deal to go in and start rebuilding all the chaos that they created. Like man, it's crazy game. I don't support it, but I have to. Unfortunately, I was born into this world, and so it is what it is. My opinion does not matter.
Saw a nice little dip. Saw a nice little red there on the 30-minute.
Yeah, I was kind of looking for the short, but I wanted to see us come up to that main POC. I'm not. No, this is potentially. Let's see.
Up because that was a quick bounce off the 20.
Yeah.
Like that just tapped 20 and shot right back up.
So yeah, so
going down, but
it didn't take out.
I see this, man, I always say, oh, I should close it out and throw in a short, and then it ends up going up.
No, right? It didn't take out this low yet. So what looks to me is, I don't know if I took it off the screen before you were here or not, but I had this set up. I think we were talking about it. Basically, back down to the value area low if we can't, get above and hold above here. You kind of want to have something like this for a short trade, but don't take it off of a limit order here. Wait for us to come up and maybe swing fail and get stuck under, and then once you see confirmation, you can maybe put enter a short here, and your stop loss is at the previous high, and then that's our break of structure. That's our continue to go down. But ultimately here, like we said, it's make or break. So let's go to the daily, because
on the daily we're just touching the what is it, the 20-day.
Well, we're coming back up to resistance, massive resistance, which was support over here, breakdown and retest. And when you're in a downtrend, this is how it works. And this is the daily time frame. So we're going all the way back to February 2026 here. But when you're in a trend like this, even on the small time frames, you have support, you bounce up into the next resistance, which was our support before, and then you get rejected and you come down and you lose your previous support, and then you come back and you test your previous support as resistance. Now, if you can't get back above your previous support, then it becomes strong resistance and pretty much indicates continuation of the downtrend. Now, what I would like to see is a bit more of a push here. It'd be nice to get on top, and we are seeing funding rates go negative again. So this last couple days has actually been spot buying, which is good to see. But that sort of indicates to me that market makers and whales are actually accumulating Bitcoin and holding it on spot, and likely in doing so, liquidating a lot of the late shorts. So, we closed our short here a couple weeks ago, or right down in here, we closed the shorts. And for good reason, because it doesn't just go down in a straight line. We weren't going to go right from 80K all the way to 40K, right? We're going to go.
I wish. Can you imagine the money you'd make on that? Jeez.
Yeah. It's not going to happen anymore, because there's so many people that are going to buy the dip, and there's so many people that actually have limit orders. And there's also a lot of people that are smarter in taking profits. So those that are short,
right?
That's
the problem.
It's contract trading. So you contract a short. That means your contract says that at some point you will buy back in. Now, if you buy higher, you buy at a loss. But if you buy lower, you buy at a surplus. So you make money. That's how you make money shorting the market. So you sell with contract to come back in. So the only way you close that short, whether it's a stop loss or a take profit, it's a market buy. So people that are trading and they're smart about it, like us, we closed our shorts, we took our profit after the move happened. And we knew at best case scenario, it was going to go sideways for a while, but we even talked about it on last stream. That it's likely to come back up here and add more liquidity down here before moving back down. If the move will continue down, it needs to have liquidity to grab. The way it does that is goes back up and builds people's hope. Oh, there's a truth. What is it? A peace treaty, a truce, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's the peace treaty right now. They're letting oil flow, and I can guarantee you something probably happens before summer to either make the market go sideways, or they're going to wait till after summer. Everybody's going to take a break, and then come September, October, oh shit.
We are coming into summer. I don't expect to see too much going on, but of course there is the Clarity Act. There is a lot of stuff going on with just
there's so much new
energy
stuff with crypto, right? It's hard to say really, like we're full blown gonna, obviously it'd be nice to tap back into the 50s again here. But, you know, even in February, you saw that we tapped that low and then we shot right back up into the 70s pretty damn quick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks or
Yeah,
a
it didn't
month,
take long.
but we
Didn't
were
take long at all.
right back in the 70s.
And
And I
but
think that,
all we did was come down and make a lower high before making a lower low, right? Because we actually we
Yes.
took these lows out, so that's continuation of the trend. Higher, lower
So-
high, lower low, lower high,
Yeah.
lower low.
and
So
that's what I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for another. Well, I'm looking for a higher high than where we are now, but I'm looking for maybe a little higher before we're
well,
kinda
just
tapping again. Like you see those big drawdowns, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're either come close to the top to retest that
mm-hmm.
and then drop again,
Mhm.
or you know, maybe we just keep
Well,
going.
it would make a lot of sense to do something similar like this over the summertime, right? We continued down, and then we just slowly grind up. You know, it's a little bit hesitant, and then we come back up to like right into here, and then we come back down again, and then you know, then we make another low, and then you know that puts us towards the end of August and September, where we think some sort of something's going to happen in the news. I don't really care what it is, but I'll tell you right now, something's going to happen in the news come September,
I can
October.
already tell you, I already know what it is. It's an election year.
It's a midterms.
Yeah, it's the 2027, so 2028 will be the election year, so it'll be elections. That's what's going to get the country up and going, and they'll distract the hell out of everybody with that.
Well, always, yeah.
Right.
But it's just not. I don't think it's like this is kind of bad too because we're stuck under this trend line, which this is a trend line from the all-time high that we actually broke, retested, looked good for a long, but then that's a fake out and then just crushes all those people. Now we get stuck back under it. We are still in the downtrend. That was a little deviation above the downtrend, which is kind of where you look for shorts in a bear market, where people start to go, I don't know, it's like literally word for word what we said. Remember, we're going to come back up, break here, get everyone's hopes up, and then just dump it on them. You can go back.
I know, because I kept saying, man, you're gonna see these 5% declines on Wealthsimple soon, and
we
got 2 of them.
Yeah,
and then right after, you see the 5% hike, right? That typically usually happens pretty quick because if Bitcoin's dropping 5-10%, there's going to be a lot of buyers now. It's not 4 years ago, 8 years ago. You know, people aren't just selling it and having it tank. There's going to be buyers if it's dropping 5%.
If you're not subscribed to the channel, folks, I highly recommend going and subscribing. First of all, we got some major killer golden tea play, but other than that, just like you can go back and look at any one of these videos and just be like, hey, just go to the part where I'm talking about the charts and what I think is going to happen, and then look at the chart and be like, oh wow. And like I've got
go to next week and see if it was right.
I've got countless scribbles on here that have played out to a T. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.
I've been watching it for years.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if I literally just followed your scribble, I wouldn't even be working right now.
I know. A lot of the time I delete them too because I'm like, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I like to try to clean up the chart every now and again, but it's like I left that one on over here.
Yeah, because I think we're only allowed to have so many charts. Like if you got to subscribe to save them or something.
Yeah, I just well, I mean, this is a messy chart. I don't look at this chart anymore because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this scribble on here and go start drawing in another chart. But it's like I left this one on here so that we could, and look at like we've deviated above it or away from it a couple times, but it's come back, and now this call like
and that wasn't. It's not like you were actually looking at the time frame.
No,
I mean that was just a quick like here we go.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be something along the lines of this, and it's
and if you had your drawdown done a little earlier or a bigger drawdown before your big hike there, I mean, that pretty much would be on par.
Yeah, totally.
Because had a bigger drawdown.
It's usually what happens in the bear markets is you get these pumps to where people are like, all right, it's back, we're in the bull market, that was the bottom, and then boom. No, so this is kind of what I do. Like it goes down a bit, sideways, up, and then back down. And then it's kind of what we did here, right? Okay, everyone's thinking this is the bottom. Oh, is this the bottom? No, boom, right back down. And so probably something along the same lines here of up and sideways for summer, and everyone calls for the bottom being in, and then some catalyst happens, a capitulation event, and we come down and take this low out one more time. And I mean, yeah, like you said, that was just a simple scribble of what I would expect to happen for the next year. So far, freaking right on the money. So make sure you like and subscribe, folks, for your greater good. You're going to want to do that. But yeah, for now, looking for not too much in major price action, because it is middle of June now, coming into July, August here. They're trying to patch things up in the Middle East. Nobody wants controversy during the summer. Everybody wants to enjoy their time, right?
Well,
Regardless of who you are.
Need it off too, right?
Yeah, right. Regardless of who you are and who you're in charge of, and what you're like, everybody kind of wants to take the summer to do a vacation or whatever, spend time with family, blah blah. We have summer, and we have the holidays, where two times where most of the time, of course there's anomalies, but most of the time nothing usually happens, and it's okay. And I mean, if you were ever watching YFH, you know that we took July off sometimes, or August off. Like, we would only do like one stream a month, because it's like, I bet you guys in 3 weeks we're going to be in the exact same place, and we come back 3 weeks later and sure enough we're in the exact same place. We went up a bit, we went down a bit, but we're still in the same place. And that's arguably what's been happening for the last 4 or 5 months. We've gone down a bit, we've gone up a bit, but we're ultimately right back in the same place. And that's why this is the DCA zone, because on those red days, on those days where you see Bitcoin's down, it's like, oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. I can put my $100 in. I can put my $50 in. Whatever you're doing, whatever your personal finance allows you, whatever your budget allows you. Make sure that your bills are paid and your family's taken care of.
I used to do $5. Like, it doesn't take a lot, right? I mean,
the best performing Bitcoin wallet to this date did $30 a day for like 4 years, and turned, I can't remember how long it was, but they turned $80,000, because that was their budget. $80,000 at $30 a day, and when it was all said and done, that $80,000 was worth $1.4 million at $30 a day.
And they didn't buy all at once, right? They used that and just went, I'm going to buy this much daily, so my average price is going to make a hell of a lot more sense.
Right. So here you go. As we were talking about fasting earlier, don't buy breakfast at Tim Hortons for $25 with your coffee. Figure out how you can every morning buy $30 worth of Bitcoin, and before too long. It's funny because you'll get into it and you'll be like, oh, well, now I'm a millionaire, but all I want to do is buy more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't even want to spend money anymore. I don't even want to spend money on stupid things.
Back to BC, I was more into Bitcoin, man. I would be sitting pretty. But obviously that's not the way life works. That's not fun. If you're just giving it, you got to work your way up towards it.
Yeah.
So
but it just changes your mindset, man, because you see it work for you, and then you start seeing no point in putting your money in anything else, because you're like, well,
I don't. I 0 point, right? People are always asking me, well, why don't you buy a house? Well, unfortunately in BC, if you didn't buy a house by 2013, 2014 kind of thing, you're done.
Yeah.
There's no point.
It's unobtainable.
You're paying for an overvalued property, and then you're paying a ridiculous amount of property taxes at this point.
Yeah.
Upkeep and everything, and that's not paying you.
No.
I would much rather rent, be able to use it as a tax deductible or anything like that, and buy assets, buy things that pay me. Keep my money out of the fiat system until Bitcoin is accepted as a form of purchase for property or anything like that. Yeah, it's hard to have a Canadian dollar versus 10,000 sats.
And the thing that's happening right now that everybody's overlooking, as the Bitcoin's down 50% from its all-time high, but AI stocks and this S&P 500 are skyrocketing. But everybody just wants to keep buying AI and S&P. It's like, you guys, you're not supposed to buy the big green candles. And then just several months earlier, everybody wanted to buy gold and silver. And now they're going down because everyone's buying AI and everyone just chasing green candles. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, no. You buy AI probably, I'd say, in probably by that 2030, right? Let so many years go by to let everything kind of get figured out. Let AI tank. Let that .com bubble hit hard.
Yeah.
Then, take some profits and dump some into AI.
Yeah, it's inevitable because it's going to be a technology that we're going to use. The infrastructure is being built, whether you like it or not. And
they're going to find a way to energize it somewhere.
Absolutely. And the thing is that they're going to use that as the catalyst, though, because think about it. All the companies that laid the tracks for the railway, they all ended up going broke in the Great Depression. But guess what? Guess what remained? The tracks were still there. And then all of a sudden we had the Industrial Revolution. Because of all the tracks that were laid, buy those companies, but they ended up being broke. And guess who bought it at pennies on the dollar? Rockefeller Foundation. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so what's going to happen now? Oh, yeah. So it's already happened. There was one in the 80s with other things too, with the internet, and then the internet.com bubble in 2000s. It's like, man, the new technology, when it happens, the people that run and own everything let the entrepreneurs spend their blood, sweat, and tears building the infrastructure, and then they just squeeze the towel, rinse it out, wring the towel out like we've talked about, pull a bunch of money out of the markets, tank the markets, hit a bunch of stop loss orders, cause this cascading capitulation, and then they buy it all back up after the infrastructure's laid in, after everything's already been done. They didn't even have to pay for it. All they did was just take the money out because they are holding the base roots of the money system. All they need to do is pull the rug, and then everybody loses their money, everybody loses their job, everybody loses their businesses, and they go back and they buy it at pennies on the dollar. And then guess what? The infrastructure is still there, the data centers are still there, the integration is still there, but guess who owns it? You know, it's the same group of people that own everything. They don't waste their time building. They don't waste their time speculating and trying to see, you know, how they can make more money off of new inventions and new tech. They let other people do that. They let entrepreneurs do that, and then they also loan them the money to do it, so they collect the interest while it's being paid, while it's being built, and then they just rug pull and screw everybody over, and then buy it all back for themselves, and then continue the same thing over and over again. Man, it doesn't matter.
Call it a recession, and that they're their saviors, and they're coming here to help.
It doesn't matter what.
We'll keep the jobs.
It doesn't matter what the problem is or what the technology is. It's the same game over and over and over again. And how, unless you have the mind of a goldfish, I don't understand how you haven't figured this out yet. You know, you can go back and look at the history books. You can go, like, all the information's there. It's just going to be the same thing.
Well, that's why I say 2030 for a new currency, right? It's because history shows you they don't last longer than 100 years. I'm sorry, but we don't have another 20 years in this currency. We don't have another 10 years in this currency. Like, if we have another 10 years in this currency, we're already a third world country. Let's get that straight. If you want to look at the books, we're a third world country.
Gonna get kicked out of the G7. Are you familiar?
We're the only one in a recession somehow, so I don't,
How familiar are you with the Clarity Act right now?
So, hey?
How familiar are you with the Clarity Act right now?
Not a whole bunch right now.
So what the Clarity Act's proposing to do, trying to accomplish, is that they will, we were talking about it a little bit before, but they are going to, first of all, digitize the dollar by allowing companies to create their own stable coins pegged to the US dollar. So instead of having companies try and, create GDP and create money and create jobs and do all this stuff, anybody that wants to use any corporation's assets, whether you go to McDonald's or you go to Home Hardware, you'll be able to just use Home Hardware dollars or McDonald's bucks or whatever.
Like the old Canadian Tire money.
Well, exactly, right? So basically going from one central entity to one central bank to every corporation becomes a bank. So what they're going to do, whether you like it or not, all these coins, all these have to be backed by something, and they're going to be backed by U.S. treasuries, as stated in the act. So everyone's going to hop right on it, right? Because everybody that already has an app, that, like, you go to McDonald's on your app, you go to A&W on your app, like, all they need to do is add one more landing page that has your wallet on it, which trust me, is already set up and is already sitting in the background. All they need to do is click launch and refresh the page, and it's all going to be there.
The world. It's just Canada that it's not like there are other places around the world that have this established, some kind of form of it.
Yeah. But the big thing is that everybody to be allowed to do that, you're going to have to back it with U.S. treasuries. So that's the only way that fiat currency and U.S. dollar could remain the world reserve currency, because you can't deny that the biggest companies, the largest grossing companies, are in the United States, right? The Mag 7 are all United States companies. They make the most money. They control most of the money. Nobody can compete with that. So for them to be able to hold on, it makes sense because they're creating the most amount of value. A lot of people are using Amazon. A lot of people are using Microsoft. A lot of people are using Google, Meta, whatever, right? Like, so for them to try and stay on a fiat standard makes no sense, because hyperinflation, like we've been talking for a while now, is here. Like, it's on its way. They're talking about the recent inflation numbers being 4 to 6% CPI and PPI, and in the States. And like, we know, because we talked about this many times before, including on the beginning of the show here, that those are still revised numbers. They have, that's 300% higher than target. You know, that's not good from an economic standpoint for what they say they're trying to accomplish. So we know that.
I wish they would report it like that, right? Oh, inflation's at 6%. No, what you should be saying is that inflation is now at 300. Like, we've gone over 300%.
300% higher than it should be. Yeah,
Right?
300% higher than a target.
That's going to create anger in the world, and people will get pissed off.
Exactly,
when people hear 6%, they don't think.
Oh, the six doesn't sound too bad. The number 6, that's not bad. 300% higher than we were trying for, though. You know, like,
yeah. And then you wonder why you're so brainwashed in the news.
Yeah, right? Because it's all about it's about conviction, straight conviction.
That's how it's presented to you.
Yeah, absolutely. They can say whatever they want to say to make you think what they want you to think, right? And they could be telling the truth, but it's about how they tell it to you. Conviction. Just how a magician fools you, right? If you pay attention to the right things and you watch his left hand or whatever, right? Like, you know, don't watch the hand that's in front of you. Watch the hand that's in his pocket, type thing.
You'll see the card disappear, just like you can watch what every politician is doing behind your back.
But with proper conviction, you can manipulate mostly anybody, and it's something that's been going on for thousands of years, if not more, right? Like, we have proof of it time and time again. But yeah, ultimately, this is make or break for Bitcoin. Make or break, folks. Look at that thumbnail. Holy moly.
Great thumbnail.
That's a great one. I think it looks to me, because I would obviously just used AI to make this, it looks to me like it stole some ideas from the Crypto Lifer. I feel like these are Lifer's colors, but I guess it is just kind of red and green. So,
well, I mean, you know, it's bull and bear, right?
Yeah.
But I see you got the little UFO up there, right?
I put the UFO up there. I put the moon up there. I put the Surely Sound up there, and I put the live. And obviously,
all this new alien news, you know.
I just used me.
They're not going to be transacting in U.S. dollars. They're going to be using Bitcoin. So.
Well, it's space technology. It's space technology, right? It's the thing about Bitcoin is that it can leave this planet. You can take Bitcoin off of the planet. Yeah. Bitcoin could be extraterrestrial. You know, it was invented here, but it doesn't need to remain terrestrial.
That's what got me hooked. And learn the blockchain, and you will love Bitcoin. It is, if you want truth and honesty in life, blockchain. If that's what you're after, blockchain technology, it's the most truthful thing you'll ever have in your life.
Yeah, to sum it all up, that's pretty much it. And the game is rigged for sure, but if you figure it out and you just play it then the way it is, and you can get on the upslope of the K-shaped economy, because there is no sign of the end of a K-shaped economy ever happening anytime soon, unless everybody gets on a Bitcoin standard. We've seen it happen with El Salvador, and it'll continue to happen, because the unfortunate thing is that only the people that have nothing to lose are willing to take the risk. The people that are like, oh, it's okay still, like, they just keep kicking the can down the road until they have nothing to lose and they have no choice. But that's why we see a country like El Salvador, where it was one of the most dangerous places in the world, one of the most, worst living quality of life, blah, blah, blah. It was at the bottom of all the lists, right? It was at the bottom of all the lists. Now it's at the top of all the lists in 5 years because of Bitcoin. Because of Bitcoin.
Like, honestly, let's be real. It was Bitcoin.
Absolutely. It was absolutely, man. Because think about it. Like, if your country's doing good, everybody's good around you, nobody's poor, nobody's having to steal, or like crime goes down, trust goes up. The Bitcoin standard fixes everything. Fix the money, fix the world. Every problem that you have on a fiat standard is all because of the money. It's not the politicians. It's above that. It's the bankers. It's the monetary policy. It's the interest. It's the compound. It's all these things that will never get better until they are replaced by something that is hard money. Yeah. So, we go from the
bank and you get a loan. The bank doesn't have that money. They've just created fake numbers It's not like the old times where they stored gold, silver, valuables, and they actually had to be, checked on and be like, okay, well, the bank has this much here, so we can loan out this.
Raya stones, gold, Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yap Island. It's like the successful monetary policies of the past got manipulated by fiat currencies. United States started its reign as world reserve currency with a gold-backed system. They took themselves off the gold-backed system, and that was the beginning of the end. And so, it's not the first time, it won't be the last time. Civilization will continue on in many different shapes and forms, but we're here now, and this is what's happening now. So best to educate yourself and learn how to play the game. That being said, though, let's wrap this one up. We're going to hour 15 already. How are you doing? What are you doing for the rest of the day? You gonna come and play some Golden Tee, or how you feeling?
Yeah, I'll get over, play around here.
Okay, no pressure. But I'd definitely be into another stream with some GT here.
Yeah. Let's get that going.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, I wish you well. I wish you wealth. Have a good rest of your day, and remember to educate yourself on anything that you can regarding reality, because a lot of that stuff out there is just simply not true, and you don't need to digest it. You can verify. Don't trust, verify. All right, folks.
Best thing you can do for yourself.
Absolutely.
Believe that your time is valuable.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Peace out.
All right, we'll see you later.
I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically.